Boston, Massachusetts in the United States. I've been working on Sitecore for about 7 years. It's been my life, and I love it. So anyways, here are some ways to reach out to me. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I'm really loud, so you can always reach me out, there. But anyways, I'm here to talk about Sitecore PowerShell Extensions. So you're probably saying, what is that? Well, it is a module in Sitecore that allows for scripting. And when I say scripting, I'm going to go kind of high level here a little bit. So what exactly is scripting? Well, really scripting is a way to do things within Sitecore without having to do code builds and deploys and things like that. So, Alex Denny's kind of kicked this off at one point using his module called Revolver. Pretty much it was like a syntax, language that he built specifically for Sitecore. It looks kind of like, Unix or Linux or whatever. And he actually presented that at Sitecore Symposium in Australia in 2012. And the gist of his presentation was that scripting saves time. So what exactly does that mean? Well, that means I can write a script, I can run it, I don't have to do a code deploy, I don't have to do anything, just make it work. So how can we make that work, high level, not just within Revolver or PowerShell or whatever. Pretty much you can do, bulk updates on items, pretty much I can change a field on a bunch of items all at the same time. Really, it's not all at the same time, it's synchronous, but basically I can change, let's say the title field on items, all in one go, one command, whatever. You can change code really fast. You just start writing it. You can just start typing. You just execute it. You don't have to do a code deploy. Just make it work. And, of course, there are no code, deploys needed, maybe, depending on what you're doing. And so we're going to go over that later. So why should I care? Well, really, saving time saves us or makes us more money. Seriously, you sit there and you do a code build and you have to I got to throw it out there. Let's say you have 5 CDs. I got to throw it out on every single CD and just make it run. I don't know. Let's say that you're only doing something on your CDs, whatever. Well, if you do PowerShell, you just run it. You just run it out there, whatever. So if you guys know, that's John West. Anyways, the gist of it is we need to save time, need to save money, not only for ourselves, but for our clients. We need to look out for our clients at the end of the day. But you might be saying, oh, come on, Mike, I got to learn another language, really? I already kind of have problems with C# or, JavaScript or whatever. Why can't I just do what I've always done before? Why can't I just, write a standalone ASPX and just run it? Seriously, man, come on. This is not 2005 anymore. I mean, we have tools today that we can run and we can make things happen. So, you don't want to have to sit there and deploy something to your CD and disrupt your users. Just run it, run a script. And when I say script, not an ASPX, I'm talking about PowerShell or I'm talking about Revolver. It doesn't matter. Just run it, make it work. So I'm going to specifically talk about Sitecore PowerShell Extensions. It was built by Adam Najmanowicz. He's a Sitecore MVP at Cognified in Poland. Michael West has joined that project about a year ago, and he's been making all kinds of crazy, significant changes. I mean, Michael West is like a PowerShell expert. I can't even keep up with this guy. He works for a Sitecore client in Dallas, Texas. Definitely, he's done a lot of work. He has video tutorials. I'll give you a link to that later. But anyways, the project's open source. You basically just grab it. You can start running with it. You can even contribute to it. And hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We need more people. You can grab it up on GitHub. I unfortunately didn't include that link, but it's there. You can find it. It pretty much will take PowerShell from Windows and it puts it right inside a Sitecore. So pretty much it's launched within, a XAML application or speak, depending on, what version of Sitecore you're on. And you can just start running with it. You can start playing with it. You can do anything that's available on Windows in PowerShell is there, at your disposal. And there are additional things that were built specifically for Sitecore, in a PowerShell way. And you have full access to the Sitecore API. You can do anything that you can do in C#, you can do in PowerShell within the Sitecore PowerShell Extensions module. So, what can I do with this thing right now? Well, like I mentioned before, you can do, bulk updates on items. You pretty much, you can manipulate items, you can make changes to fields, you can create new items, you can delete items, it doesn't matter. And also, I need to clarify something. When you delete items, it follows the Sitecore security model, so it's not like you can just go in there and start deleting things. If you don't have access to it, you can't delete it, or you can't change things. So it does respect whatever is there out of the box Sitecore-wise. There are out-of-the-box reports that you can use. So you can go in there and say, hey, I want to actually see a list of all media library items that are not used. Or there are so many, pre-canned reports that you can run. I haven't even looked at them all. And of course, you can write your own. If you needed to write your own report, sure, go for it. I actually have done that just for you guys, and I'm going to show you that. You can actually launch a PowerShell script from the item context menu. So you can right-click on an item. You can actually run a script right there on the item, and it will do whatever within that context of the item or its children or descendants. It's pretty powerful stuff. And you also can run PowerShell within scheduled tasks in Sitecore, and I'm going to show you that as well. All right, let's take a look at it. So I'm in Sitecore. This is Sitecore 7.2. So you have a couple things that you can use. You can use the PowerShell console. And quite honestly, oops, I got booted. Hold on. So you have the PowerShell console here. And I'll be quite honest, I actually don't use this. It seems it looks a little bit like DOS or maybe Unix. It's like, yeah, I don't want to go down that road again. But you can do things in here. And I think you can actually do tab to get to other commands. I'm not doing anything magical here, just hitting tab. It will autocomplete for you. You can pass in paths to items or whatever. Let's say I wanted to get an item or something. I can do something like this. I can do Sitecore content home. Voila. I was given, the home item, and then it kind of serializes it out, to the stream, and it gives me all, fields and information, metadata, or whatever. But like I said, I don't use this. I just wanted to point it out that you can use this if you want. But my favorite toy in this module is the PowerShell Integrated Scripting Environment, or ISE. And I'm going to launch that, maybe. Hello. So this is a nice little application in Sitecore that allows you to run PowerShell commands or scripts. So I want to point out, before I'm going to talk about the way to figure out, So actually, in PowerShell, every command starts with a verb. So get or add or delete or whatever, and then hyphen, and then some kind of action or noun, I would say. So I can get an item. Do something like that, or I can get a verb, and if I want to know what verbs are in PowerShell, I can run this command called get verb. Or I could do this and say, I don't know what I'm looking for. I can do control space. Oh, demo gods are not liking me today. Hold on 1 second. Anyways, when this works, there's a list of commands here that you can choose from.
7.2.
Yeah, it might be a 7.2 bug. It was working yesterday. But anyways, let's say that I chose the get item command. Trust me, it's a command. You can do control enter, and you get this nice help screen. It tells you, everything about this command, what it does, parameters that it takes in, different ways of filtering your results, whatever. I'm not going to read all of this. So anyways, this is available for every single command in PowerShell as long as somebody specified it somewhere in code.
You do control space?
I tried control space, but unfortunately, oh, there we go. So you got a nice, IntelliSense menu here, and you can select things. So I can get an item by URI like that, and I can just pass in whatever. So, this is one of the cool features within the PowerShell Extensions module, is, having something like this. And to be quite honest, I learned how this worked last week when it wasn't working for me. So I kind of like reached out to Adam and said, hey, I need your help. I can't get this thing working. He's like, oh yeah, that's actually using the Windows PowerShell behind the scenes. I'm like, whoa. So I have no idea how it works, but it works. Anyways, I can get, if I want to get a list of verbs that are available in PowerShell, I can do get verb, not verb, and then you can do Control Enter to execute a script. You can go boom, and it thinks for a second, and then boom. So these are a list of verbs that are available, to you at your disposal to run PowerShell commands.
Make the screen a bit small. It's just
Oh. It's not working. It's getting worse. I tried that. Yeah. So how do I get out of this? All right, I'm going to keep going. So over on the left, it's truncated, but there are verbs. So, you can just, let's say I got get verb, and then I can actually pass in a verb. I think I can do this. I haven't done this in a while. You do add, and you do execute it. And then it just filters it down, whatever. Anyways, so that's the integrated scripting environment, in a nutshell. But I want to start showing you things that are available in the module itself. So you can go to, I'm happy this is not truncated. You can go here, and then you can go into your content tree, so everything lives in your content tree in the master database.
to not maximize your browser, then you can move it a little bit to the right. The left part is falling out.
How's that? Better?
Yeah.
Great. I can't see anything now. All right, so you can go into System, Modules, PowerShell, and then you have a lot of stuff at your disposal here within the scripting library. There are reports here. You can create your own reports. You can write functions, so you can reuse them across reports or wherever. There are ways to add to the context, the item context menu. You can do that within here. I'm going to show that in a second. But anyways, I want to point out the out-of-the-box reporting tools that are available to you. So you can actually go to Reports and then PowerShell Reports. And then you get another, context menu here with all the different reports inside the different folders. So, one thing that I looked at was looking at some media reports. Oh, and by the way, before I show, this, I do want to show that I created a sample website for you guys with cats and hats, and some, a title field with some tokens on it, and basically, some sample content. So I got a bunch of pages, with sub-pages, whatever. None of this renders, but that's okay. We don't need that for this demo. Anyways, let's say I want to run a report to see, what media library items have that are not linked to any content items. I can go to the reporting tools, PowerShell reports, then I can go to media audit, and then I can do media items not used by content items, and I can just run that. You can also cancel. And voila, I got a list of, media library items that are not linked to any content items here. Unfortunately, I can't scroll down, but, usually there's a scroll bar over here on the right. And you can actually click on these. These are linked to actual media library items. It will bring you there in the content tree. So go there, and there it is. Okay, I got this fat cat and a Santa hat that isn't linked to anything. Or, let's say that you're like, okay, I need to like download this because I don't want to look at it right now. You can actually export to different formats here. You can do CSV, HTML, XML, Excel. I mean, you see right here. But one thing I haven't looked at is whether you can add your own. I bet you can. Not easily, but I bet you could write something and just put it in here. But I didn't look at that. Anyways, I built a custom report just for this presentation. And I'm going to actually open it within here. So the other thing you can do is you can open scripts within, the ISC inside of Sitecore. So I can just click, the open folder, and then I get everything within, the content tree right here. So I wrote my own script here, images with an empty, alt field. And I'm going to be quite honest, I'm not a PowerShell expert. I really know anything about PowerShell. I kind of copy and pasted another report and just changed things around. So pretty much what this does is it gets all child items in the media library images folder that have an empty alt field. And of course the field must be on the item. Because if it's a file field, it's not going to have an alt. A file, it's not going to have an alt field. So basically grab everything that has, an alt field and everything that has an alt field that's, equal to the empty string. And then in here we just run it, and we if there are no items, we show a message. Otherwise, we just show things. So there's a way, and I think Michael West wrote this. Pretty much you can just show, a tabular results view of this, and then you can do things with it, download it, whatever. And pretty much, and then you close the window. But so, this is pretty much all this does. And I wrote this, and it took me about 10 minutes to write this. It wasn't that hard. So, if you need to spin up a report, you can. And I'm just going to run this. Bam. It's a bunch of images here with no alt text. And then you can click on it, and you can go to it. There you go. There's a cat, with the wizard hat. He has no alt text, sadly. Anyways. And like I said before, you can do batch updates on items. And I actually wrote a bunch of scripts before I came in here because I'm not a PowerShell expert. But here we go. We can actually sit there, and you guys saw that we had a bunch of items with tokens on them. There was a name token and a parent name token on the title field of every item within this mock website I built. So pretty much, I wrote a script here that will expand those tokens. I'll take this and I'll steal it. Ooh. So pretty much what this is doing is grabbing the current item by context, which is this right here, within the master database. So you can actually change things here. You can change the database, whatever. And then I'm actually creating, I'm creating two arrays here. I'm getting the current item, and then I'm getting all the descendants of that item here using the get child item recursive command. And then you can kind of chain commands together in PowerShell by using a pipe. So I can grab everything here, create two arrays, concatenate them together, pipe them through this for each loop, and then here run a command on the current item within the loop. An expand token is actually a command that comes out of the box with the PowerShell Extensions module. So I'm going to run that. Okay, it says it ran. Let's see if it worked. There we go. So there were tokens here. They're gone. They were expanded. And then, so that's the ability to do batch updates on items right there. And then I can actually set it back if I want. I can just say, hey, I want to just put it back to whatever I had before. Just do that. Do that quickly. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I could. Let's see if that worked. And it worked. Pretty much just put the tokens back in. Why would you do that? I don't know, but I just did that. You also, the other thing I want to show is adding to the context menu for items. So I actually kind of cheated, and I already did this earlier. I created I like expanding tokens, so I created the ability to do that here. So pretty much you can go to the item context menu, scripts, and then I created something called expand tokens, and I'm going to open that up and show you what that looks like. So I'm going to go into the PowerShell content tree, context menu, and I created, a new context menu option to expand tokens. It's really not much magical going on here. If you guys notice, it kind of looks like, the Sitecore API here, and it actually is using the Sitecore API. Pretty much I'm just grabbing the current item. I'm grabbing, basically the master variables replacer object that's used by Sitecore, which is specified in the web config. I'm just beginning at it. I'm doing a replace item on that to expand all the tokens, and then I'm taking it out of editing and just closing the window. That's all I'm doing here. And then, I saved it within here. That's all I did. And then magically, it just showed up here. And then I can just run it. Now, there's one thing to point out is that this does not reload the item within, the content editor, unfortunately. I tried to figure out a way to do it using, share. Couldn't get it to work. So you just have to click that and just redo it. And then boom, you see that it was expanded, which is great. All right, so what else do we have here? Basically, you have the ability, and like I said before, you can actually add PowerShell scripts to schedule tasks in Sitecore, which is pretty powerful, because, you don't want to have to do build a class and then, set it up and then, point it within the schedule task in Sitecore. You just write a script, you point it to, you point the schedule task to the script and you're done. So I'm going to show you that. So I wrote a script to clear the HTML cache. I think clear it, I don't know, maybe every 5 minutes or something. Maybe every minute, I forget. There's nothing magical here. It's just looping over all the sites in your instance. It's pretty much just grabbing the site info object and it's just calling HTML cache clear on the cache. That's all it does here. And then I log something to the Sitecore log. This is basically just the .NET, string dot format right here. You just pass in stuff, and you can do whatever you can do everything in .NET within PowerShell, because PowerShell is built in .NET. And then you just write it to the log and whatever. So I saved it, and then I saved it. I'm going to actually go to it. So I saved it to this scheduled task right here. Pretty much I just point to the script here, and I basically just have it run all the time, every second. It's not going to run every second, but I set it up to do that. And pretty much this points to a PowerShell script command that comes out of the box, which lives right here. And I have not looked at the code for this, but I'm assuming it just executes PowerShell, anything you pass to it. You don't have to touch this. I would recommend not touching this unless you have it, an idea to make it better. I don't know. But all the magic happens within the script, and you just point to it. And then after you set this up, it just starts running. Maybe it's running now. Let's see. Whoops. Well, here's an example. So basically for every single site in your instance, I call, HTML cache.clear, and then I just log message here. And it does it every so often. You know, I mean, the point is, yeah, you might not want to do this, but you could set up a schedule task to do whatever you need it to do. You can import items. You know, I've seen schedule tasks used to import items. I've seen people set up, like, publishing tasks, even though you can use an agent for that. But, you know, your options are, you know, are there. You can do whatever you need to do and make it just work. And it's just, you know, you just log the information. And also, PowerShell extensions will log the script that you're running. So this happens out of the box. You know, you don't have any control over this, but it gives you context in case something happens. You know, if you need to troubleshoot a bug, you just look and say, oh, I was trying to run this, and oh yeah, it blew up, and whatever. Oh, oops. So, I mean, what else can we do with this? The other thing that you can do with this, if you really wanted to create your own command, which, by the way, I'd recommend not doing that if you don't have to, because you can create functions, and you know, within the scripting library. But let's say you really had to create a command, you can do it, you know, within Visual Studio. So for this demo, I decided to create a command, you know, to protect and unprotect items. So I decided to get a little fancy. And I decided to use the template method pattern. So everybody's familiar with design patterns here, right? Thumbs up. Awesome. So I decided to use the template method pattern here. So pretty much I just have my main algorithm here. Just, you know, read in an item. If it's recursive, you know, do things, process all the items. Otherwise, just exit out after you process the context item that you pass in. Every command in PowerShell extensions will inherit from a base command. So this abstract base class has all kinds of magical stuff on it that I don't know about. But, you know, one thing you just need to do is just override this method here and you're done, pretty much, other than writing code. I wrote a bunch of code here that will basically, you know, look at the current item, and the item is actually hydrated on a property here from the PowerShell Extensions module. I don't know how this works, I haven't looked at it. But it will put it inside of this guy here. You can set a bunch of attributes on your property. I'm not really sure what these do. I just copied this from another command. And then I copied this as well. This is the recursive switch that you can just pass to your command. It's pretty much, you know, process the current item. If it's not recursive, get out. If it is, let's process all the, you know, children and descendants of the item that was, you know, passed in. So we just basically, I'm just looping over things, and I'm calling a method recursively. Nothing magical happening here. And then I'll do a, you know, try catch, and then I'll write it out saying, oh yeah, I changed this item here, whatever. So I wrote two different commands to implement this base class. So everybody's familiar with protecting and unprotected items? Yeah? So basically, I have a command here to protect the item that you give it. Basically, there's nothing, I mean, it's using everything from the base class. We basically just have there's an abstract class on the base class called edit item. You pass in the item, and then you do your specific command stuff here. So basically, I'm just making this read-only, and then I have another command to make it not read-only. So, you know, earlier last week, I actually did a build. I deployed this out. I'm not going to do that now. I can now run this. Oh, before I actually run it, I just want to point out that you can add, you have to specify this commandlet function here. This is your verb, this is your noun. This is what shows up in the PowerShell ISE. I don't know how to add information to the help command, but there is a way to do that in here. I don't know how. But, you know, if you're really curious, I would recommend exploring that. So after doing the build and deploying, I can now magically protect things. And I actually can use that guy to help me. Let's do the home item, and I'm going to do it recursively. Before I do that, I just want to show you that nothing is protected. There's no content editor warning here. Neither on that or this. So I'm going to protect the current item. I'm actually going to do it like this, just to show you a little bit more of PowerShell stuff. Do item. So you can get an item like this. And then I can pass in that. And then I can do this. This is a recursive switch that was a property on the edit command base class. Fingers crossed. Boom, doesn't work. Great. Oh, I see why. I have to do that guy. No? I think this is that. Which one? Oh, thank you. Thanks. That stinks, huh? Let's try that. Like I said, I'm not a PowerShell expert here. Any suggestions?
Isn't the property called recurse instead of recursive?
Thank you. But I think it's balking at this. And I think I need to do this. Boom. Just reload. Now it's protected. So is its child here and grandchild. And then, you can run that. But everything here is, all read-only. And then, like I said before, you can actually, I built the other command to unprotect it. Okay, cool. I didn't sacrifice the coffee to the demo guides. Sorry. Anyway, so, that's pretty much just building commands in a nutshell. I mean, it's really not that difficult. You don't have to use any fancy design patterns if you don't want to, but I just did that because I like to do that. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everything, that you can do in this module. I mean, there are other things that you can do as well that I haven't really explored yet. Like I said before, there's a lot of reports here. I haven't looked at them all. I would recommend downloading this and taking a look and just saying, oh, wow, that's kind of cool. So let me go back to the PowerPoint. So we covered custom commands. So pretty much, I just touched the surface here. There's so much stuff in this module. I am still learning about this module myself. I started looking at it maybe last August and, walked away from it and then went back. And I'm just learning new things. New things are added all the time. Adam Naimanovich is like a machine. I don't know how he just codes all the time. He goes to bed at like 3 a.m. his time every day. And then Michael West, another machine. These guys are just incredible. I wish I had that kind of energy, but you can download the module here from the marketplace. I created, a nice little short URL for you. There are resources here. I think this is a collection of different articles that you should look at. there are video tutorials by Michael West. He did a whole series of, YouTube videos, and they're out there, and it's, some of it might be a little bit high level, some of it might be kind of like introductory, other things might be like, whoa, what are you doing? I watched them all, and, it helped me learn a lot about this module. And of course, Adam has his blog where he has he writes some stuff about every so often about the PowerShell Extensions module, but he also has a listing of things that you should go look at. It's like a big meta-analysis of different links to, that talk about PowerShell, the module, or things related to it. And of course, I've written a few articles about, how to extend this module, and I'm definitely going to probably blog about things I've discussed here later on. Not today, but sometime maybe in the next couple weeks. And definitely, if you have any questions for me or anything like that, you can get me by email. You can find me on Twitter. Yeah, you can definitely find me on Twitter. Or you can just go to my blog and just, start reading things. And if you have a comment, you can just leave a comment and I'll respond, when I can. You guys have any questions? Huh?
Slide deck.
Oh.
I was just taking a picture.
You started your presentation with creating a web form, a simple ASPX page, which you invoke from the outside of your website. Is it possible to invoke the PowerShell commands from not within Sitecore, but from a build server, for instance?
I don't know if you can do that using this module, but I know that you can do that just using regular Windows PowerShell. I've done that, actually. I've actually invoked PowerShell scripts, from scheduled tasks in the Windows scheduler, but I'm not sure if you can use the API within this module to do that.
Okay, thank you.
There's the context item in the PowerShell ISE, but you have used when you're calling your commands. You get the item again, the same item, and what?
Want me to go back?
Yes, if you open the Sitecore.
Ooh, I got booted.
And in the ISE there is a context item, and you retrieve that again, the same item. And do we have to do that, or can we use the context item as well in the PowerShell?
So you mean like here?
Yes.
Yeah, you can use dot. I just showed this to show that you can actually grab something by its path.
Okay.
So you have options. You can do dot. You can get the item by its URI.
So the item is the context item if you're not set another.
Right. So this would give you, is that a dot? This will give you this guy right here.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Hold on, Mike.
Have you used this into a multi-site solution, like how do I pass the language, or maybe I want to do a command to delete extra versions for a specific language or something like that?
I believe there's a way to do it. I haven't done it myself, and I haven't seen it. But, there's a lot of stuff in this module that
Okay.
I only touched the surface myself. And so, yeah, I'm assuming that I can just do Control Enter, and I probably can see some kind of, I would say parameter for, the language, maybe, or something. Maybe not. Or
Maybe it takes the context language.
how about if it uses a context language, by default. But I'm thinking I can do something like, oh no. Oh man, that bug came back. Here we go. Maybe this one? Yeah, I'm not certain. I'm assuming there's a way to do it if you wanted to change the language. If not, I will blog about
I
that.
just worked a lot with large-scale multi-site solutions, and
Yeah. I believe there is a way to do it. I mean, you can actually use just the Sitecore API to do it as well in here. So you can basically
I guess
just
you can
grab
do
the
something
item.
custom to get the language.
Right, so I can actually just like do, grab the database, get item and just pass in whatever you need to do to make it work. So that's available, so.
Are there other questions? Thank you, Mike. Oh, performance. Did you check this on 100,000 of content items, updating some fields, filtering?
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
I'm not sure if it's, very fast. I never load tested this, so I'm not sure if anybody's load tested this, but I'm assuming it's probably not as fast as something that's already been, kind of like built like a C# file, because it is interpreted, so.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.